Welcome back, everyone, to OpenLine. Talking about affordability in Nashville. We have with us Ralph Schulz, Nashville Area Chamber of Commerce President, and Rusty Lawrence, Executive Director of Urban Housing Solutions, a nonprofit that deals with affordable housing in Nashville. So talking about affordability and a new report, Vital Signs report, that came out from the Chamber that looks at a whole bunch of different financial and economic numbers and issues. Let's go back to the phone here. Let's go to David. Hello, David?
Yes.
Go right ahead. What's on your mind?
Okay. I've got a question. You know, they're doing all kinds of building. I've gone to Nashville and doing all kinds of building. Well, my concern is what's going to happen to all the homeless that were living in those areas? Where are they going to move them to? Because City Mission is almost full of people now. So where would these people go to?
You're worried about the homeless? Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you for that. We're going to do a show on homelessness next week, but here's someone who's concerned about, I guess, the growing number of homeless and where they're going to go. What about that in this report, and just what can you offer there?
Well, I know there's a lot of concern. That's not an issue that we specialize in. Rusty, you might know more.
I'll just give you my take on it. I believe the city has a plan right now to develop a homeless service center, and above that service center will be 100 to 150 new permanent housing units for homeless people. That's not going to solve the problem, but that's going to put a dent in it. In 1991, when we started urban housing, it was in result of the onslaught of homeless people that were downtown. And so we bought a motel, created what they call a single room occupancy for homeless people. And sure enough, after we got that up and operating, there was, people noticed a difference in the amount or the density of homeless people that were downtown. They were now living in our property. So I think some of that will occur.
Mm-hmm. You know, I had a meeting the other day with Salvation Army commander who's come to Nashville from a city where they made a big impression, a big dent in the homeless population. I think what he said was they reduced it by about 1/3 through some programming that they had done with the city. You know, we're going to continue conversation with those guys because they're very aggressive about trying to create shelter for homeless. So I encourage your listeners to talk to the Salvation Army if they're curious to know what good plans are.
All right, let's go to Reverend Fuzz. Hello, Reverend Fuzz.
Hey, good evening. Thank you. Hi, Ralph, and he's my good friend. and Rusty, I haven't seen in a long time. But
it's been a while.
I want to say this, Ben. Both these guys, I know that their expertise. See, this is some complicated stuff. It appears that we're talking about this overall picture. It evidently is pretty complicated. But I know Rusty has been working at this so long, an urban developer, planner, doing things like this, and I know what Ralph brings to the table. So I'm going to ask them to give me something that's not so complicated that I can do or that people can do. Rusty and Ralph, I don't know how we can do that. I'm going to ask you, give me like 2, maybe 3 things that people can do that you recommend us do as citizens of Nashville. 2 or 3 things that we need to be engaged in. How do we do it? Not about what needs to be done, but how can we do something? Give me something concrete to do if that's a good question or something. That's all. And thank you, Ralph. And Rusty, I'm glad to see you.
I'm glad to hear you too.
All right, Reverend Fuzz, thank you. People feel overwhelmed by this. Mm-hmm. It is a big topic, and it affects so many people, and it's so important. So Reverend Fuzz is asking, what are 2 things, concrete things that an individual can do? Yeah, what do you recommend? I'll let either of you take this.
Well, okay. Actually, recently we've been approached by 5 different congregations that have land attached to their church building. And they feel a social mission, and they would like to see some affordable housing developed on that land adjacent to their church building. And Reverend Fuzz is in a perfect position to promote that type of thing. And I think that is an excellent way to go.
That's fascinating. So churches
could
are
get rising to the occasion. They really are.
That's fascinating. Okay.
You know, I don't really have an institutional answer here. I have more of a personal answer. As this opportunity gets created, we need people to take advantage of it. And what I would encourage every person to do is within their own home, within their own family, with their own kids, focus on that the importance of getting that good education, that quality education. We're not seeing the performance in the schools that we need for those students to really achieve the kind of prosperity that Nashville is creating. A lot of that just has to do with the need to focus young people on taking advantage of school as compared to sort of not taking advantage of school, working hard. So you know, Enoch Fuzz is a great friend, and I love our work together. But my answer is really, you know, close to home, focus on education, focus on skill development. Even the adults in the household, take advantage of Tennessee Reconnect, go back to school, carve the time out, bring that skill level up, get that better job.
Because the jobs are here.
They are, and they're going to keep coming here.
There was someone who questioned, all right, we just saw Amazon, another huge positive announcement, and someone, I believe, said that's going to raise rents even further in Nashville. Mm-hmm. So what do you say? When you hear that, what do you say?
You know, for the last 5 years, Nashville has been growing jobs at a 30,000 to 40,000 rate. Amazon represents 5,000 jobs over 7 years. I mean, all these jobs aren't going to materialize right now. They're coming here because the talent's already here. I have to say, we've been absorbing that job growth for the last 5 years, and so I don't think Amazon's just another blip on the radar. But it's just part of the total complexion of the job growth, which we've been absorbing. Traffic's worse. We've got to work on infrastructure. And Ben, this is one of the things I wanted to mention. There are a lot of issues here. Healthcare coverage is an issue. That attaches cost to households. We find fewer people are being insured by their employer because of the cost of health care. So issues like Medicaid expansion or expanding insurability to Tennesseans, those are important economic policies that need to be established, but those are cost-related issues as well.
Yeah, and it's in the report. In 2006, 69% of employers offered health insurance. In 2016, it was down to 46%.
That's correct.
That's a steep decline.
It is, because the cost of providing that health care coverage is increasing so quickly every year.
Okay. Do you want to add?
Well, I'll just add one thing, and that is I think that we've seen a tremendous growth in what you might call the high-end apartment complex industry. And I think it almost stabilized. I think the Amazon employees coming in, they may begin to fill up some of those units that might not have been taken by your normal Nashville public.
What I've heard some people theorize, and that's probably the best it is as a theory, is the money is in the high-end homes and the high-end apartments. It's all these luxury apartments and these big homes. People aren't building the other stuff, the middle or lower end stuff. Is that right?
They're beginning to look at those, and actually just last a couple of weeks we've had several private developers coming to us and saying, we want to do some affordable housing. We don't know how to do it. We'd like to partner with you so that you can show us some of the financial mechanisms, some of the management techniques and things like that. I do believe people are beginning to look at a little different level so that they can continue to do their product and make some money at it, but at a little different level.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I mean, these developers that are coming to you, it's not necessarily out of the goodness of their heart. They see a market here. Is that right? Or are they trying to meet a need?
Let's say it's a little of both. Let's say it's a little of both.
They like doing good.
They do like doing
as
good.
well as
they want to
doing
make money.
well.
All the ones that we've talked to, they want to do good. They also want to continue to be able to do their industry.
And they see a market now.
They do.
And a way to make money on middle or even the lower end property, right? Which is where there's a great
middle,
deal.
I would say more the middle than the lower
Yeah,
end.
I guess middle end,
Yeah.
which is where there's a great need.
You know, think of it economically. You have this infusion over the last 5 years of a young, capable workforce. They've progressed in their jobs. They've also gotten older. They're entering different phases of their life. They have swelled the marketplace for that first own a house. So yeah, you know, people who build homes, they see that as opportunity, and they're going to price that housing to fit that big market.
Let's go back to the phones. Fred, hello Fred, are you here?
Well, hello.
Go right ahead.
You know, I am quite surprised at what is going on the screen. Apparently, the folks never paid any attention to Detroit. Detroit started out with this kind of an attitude. And they started building housing and running them up together and all of it. And as much as the population increased, crime increased exponentially. The same thing is happening in Nashville. Every day, I'm living on property that my wife was born on. And we're both pretty old now. But when she was young, whenever the fire came down the street over here, it was to somebody that they knew, and they were only about once a week. Now they're every day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. Shots ring out. I call 911. And you know what happens? I don't get any results. But I hear later on that somebody got shot. Now, let's face it. Crime is rising exponentially depending on the increase in population in Nashville. And you're trying to bring more and more people in here and increase the crime rate, and people like me are getting to where we can't live here, but we've been here all of our lives. You're trying to drive us out. Where in the world are you thinking? And these people that are coming in here from California and buying land at $1,000 million for an acre, that's ridiculous. They're not looking to increase the livability in Nashville. Now, Governor Browley, not the current Governor Browley, but Beverly Browley, was a friend of mine. And his attitude was, you make Nashville great for the people who are here. You're not trying to bring other people in to take the place of these folks. And that's exactly what you're trying to do.
All right, Fred, thank you.
You're ruining our lives.
All right. I appreciate Fred is articulately stated the way a lot of people feel. He's very passionate about it. He's basically saying we keep inviting more and more people here, and it's making it harder and harder to live here. What do you say when you hear that?
Well, I understand the commentary. I understand the observation. But what we're trying to do is increase opportunity for the people that are here. As I said before, Amazon, part of what attracted them to this area is that they know the talent's already here. It's not, they don't have to bring the talent here, it is here. And those opportunities are going to increase opportunity for the people that are already here. We're just trying to increase the opportunity for people for that quality of life. Honestly, I have to say that Nashville is attracting the people. No one is undertaking a promotional campaign to draw people to Nashville. The culture of Nashville, the economics of Nashville are attractive. Compared to many places that people are coming from, Nashville is a great deal. It's an open, friendly, embracing, encouraging place, and they want to be a part of it. So we're working on increasing opportunity for the people that are here.
And you heard him mention Detroit. That's a situation where a city was booming and then it is in steep decline. But how do we learn from lessons of other cities, and how do we not become a city that's been ascended highly and then have a steep decline?
That is actually a great observation. First of all, Nashville really doesn't compare to Detroit at all. Detroit was driven by a singular industry. Nashville has had and continues to have great diversity in industry. There are lots of elements to Nashville, but the single biggest issue that you have to overcome is complacency. Nashville is at this moment of opportunity because people were intentional about what they wanted the community to be. When cities boom, and we've been studying it, the tendency to complacency, the loss of engagement in the community, the loss of engagement in the discussion, that's what takes communities into decline, because you see education decline, infrastructure decline, people moving out, etc. I have to tell you, Nashville's a special place. I don't see disengaging from that conversation. So I'm very optimistic about Nashville not being complacent.
And did you want to add anything?
No, I want to defer to Ralph. That's a good answer.
I appreciate the call from Fred. Thank you for the call. We're going to take a break. We'll get to a bunch more calls. Have several. Take a break. Be back right after this.